Let's go. Welcome to everyone. Thank you very much for being here at Growth Hacking and Upper Marketing. Today we have Hughes. He is a universal recognized, one of the world's leading pioneers on exponent social selling, and he's currently ranked #1 as the most influential social selling person in the world. He was responsible for large scale and transforming lives of people in Oracle, and the results delivered to excess of 100 million in sales uplift. He's currently leading a number of sales transformation programs in large B2B organizations. He's one of the co-founders of the Digital Leadership Associates. Tim, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you very much.
I love getting on the line and talking to people.
Tim, first of all, and everyone, please, I need you to show me something, and I want to see that you show me the book. That's rule number one. Yes, yeah. That's rule number one.
So some people say I wrote the book on social selling, and that's it. Social selling techniques to influence buyers and change makers. It's available on Amazon worldwide, bestseller.
Wonderful. Social selling. We're going to be sharing the link. Obviously, yes. No affiliates. We love to share the word on Team.
So the way it's written is not. You said you wanted to talk about real things and real case studies.
Please.
So this book is not written about my journey, or it's written as a workbook that people can basically read and immediately implement. So when Matt, who's my co-author, and I wrote this, we brainstormed every chapter, and we used to meet in the kitchen downstairs, and we'd whiteboard it out. The first one we met at, I actually went for a meeting with a sales director, and the sales director leant across the table at me, pointed at me and said, "This social selling is all very well, Tim, but where's the effing leads?" And Matt said, that is the thing that we basically need to think about. Whenever we write a chapter, we're going to say, where's the effing leads? So we would always brainstorm it, and if we thought the chapter was too fluffy, there had to be something practical that salespeople could implement. And what we've tried to do with this book is actually provide something that everybody can take away and actually implement. There's bits about some tools, there's bits about etiquette, there's bits about how you can use stuff, and there's now 42 5-star reviews on Amazon. So the feedback's been fantastic, and if you want people to see some real practical stuff and they want to know and go away and actually read something, then that would be the place to start. So
I love it. Social selling to everyone. Please download it and buy it, read it.
It's now on Audible as well, so you can read. It's now, I think it's on pre-order on Audible as well, so you can listen to it.
I love it. What I would say, how did you start it about social selling? How was it the move on normal door-to-door? How was it the change for you and understanding how powerful social selling?
I work for a big tech company. And we had to go through a massive transformation, just like a lot of companies are going through. So, the people who follow this are probably actually part of the transformed. They're probably working for SaaS and cloud companies.
Yes, already now most of them. Yes,
they were the people that forced us to transform. We were a big tech company. We were selling on-premise stuff, and we suddenly had all these competitors come in, and we had to change. And we were used to sales cycles of 18 months, and all of a sudden we had a sales cycle of 6 months, and then 3 months, and then 6 weeks. And then we actually recruited somebody from one of our competitors, and he said, "We close on the first meeting," and we went, "What?" Because we've got all these salespeople that are used to 18-month sales cycles. So if you made an error, you had 18 months in which to sort it. And in a way, you already knew people that were going to buy. You didn't actually even need to close, because people are on this track. And what we've seen is this complete disruption that's taken place. So we went through this process of we had to transform 4,000 pre-sales and.
Was that an Oracle?
Sorry?
Was that an Oracle?
Yeah, 4,000 people to actually start selling differently. So that included trying to throw away PowerPoints using whiteboards. I'm a great believer in using PowerPoints, telling stories rather than, you know, this is a slide of us doing really well, and here's a slide of us in front of our new office. All of those stuff, people can now go on the internet and actually research themselves. It was storytelling, using whiteboards, and we also taught people about social selling, which is about going online on social and building relationships with people ahead of actually having a meeting.
I love it, and one of the things is telling stories, and nowadays with Instagram, the best stories, our life stories, isn't it? Is social selling, from my point of view, is how real we are and how open we are to the world. I don't know if you had some of your customers or people saying, yeah, but I don't have LinkedIn. On my Facebook, it's private. What about when someone asks you that question, what do you say to him?
Well, the important thing, first of all, I agree with you about the single thing that any organization has, the unique selling point is the people. So I know everybody's really passionate about what they sell and the product, but actually nobody cares.
I love it.
You know, we're all too busy. We're all too busy to take your sales call or your sales pitch. You know, we're doing something at weekend. We're taking the kids away. The in-laws are coming. We've got a barbecue. These are the things that are front of our mind. These are the things that we're thinking about, and we don't want to be interrupted by people who are just going to give us a sales pitch. So because of that, and because, you know, we've all got one of these, if we want to go and buy something, we just go online and we research it. And now we're in a situation where there is an infinite amount of information available to us. And the more power we recognize that we've got as a buyer, the more we hate being pitched to. And the more importance it becomes that we actually start building relationships with people, and using those relationships to either sell to or sell through. One of the things that we teach in our programs is about not just about how to create a network, but how to sell through that network. So what you're doing is that you create advocates, colleagues, friends who will take your content and share it through into their networks. And that's one of the things that I talk about in my book about creating community, but that's also really important for salespeople to get hold of, which is you're not necessarily selling to your connections, you're trying to actually sell through them. We work in B2B enterprise. Pretty much all of our work is in B2B. Our two main social networks are LinkedIn and Twitter. We do a bit on LinkedIn. If you were starting out, I would always say LinkedIn is the first place, then Twitter.
I was just going to ask you that.
And then move to maybe Instagram. Obviously, I'm on all platforms because I have to be. The thing about what you asked about Facebook, I think if you start going onto Facebook and saying, "Here's my product, buy my product," you'll piss a lot of people off very quickly. But Facebook is a great place. There's some great closed groups on there. Groups on LinkedIn generally don't work anymore. What I would see on Facebook is there's a lot of very good groups. They're very active. They're not so full of spammers and recruiters. And it's a great place to be active. So if you're in sales, you know, you need to be on Facebook if you can. As to, is it for family and friends? Well, I think to a certain extent, but you've got to be careful because in terms of if you could be connected to your brother-in-law on Facebook, but not be connected to them on LinkedIn. And that person actually may be influential in a purchase of something. And the last thing you want is for them to turn around and say, "I didn't know you did this. We just bought your competitive product." I think I would never, if you're in sales, don't dismiss Facebook. It's a really good platform.
I am with you.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that, imagine that you're just starting. I'm just imagining myself a few years ago. I'm just starting, let's say, YouTube channel, Instagram, and everything. Okay, I put great material, but no one goes to visit. Shall I stop and say, "Fuck, this doesn't work," or shall I say, "Let's go until someone says they like my channel"? What would you recommend for anyone just now?
Well, the first thing that will happen if you're starting out is that no one will know about you. So you've got to expect nothing to happen. It's a bit like throwing a stone into a well and it never actually hits the bottom. You know, nothing will happen. And the trick is to, you know, if you're putting out insightful and educational content, people will find it. And that, you know, you can get it in front of people either by tagging people, using hashtags, just being active. You know, if you're actually being active and talking to people, people will come and look at your profiles and go, is this a good person or is this a bad person? So we always recommended on social selling, we always recommend 3 things. So the first thing is you've got to have a personal brand. So you've got to have a LinkedIn profile or Twitter. Your LinkedIn profile, your Twitter profile, your Instagram reflects who you are.
I love it.
Yeah. Right. So it's got to reflect your personality, which is what a lot of people don't. They think it's about selling. They think it's about selling their company or the products. As soon as I see the fact that you're a salesperson, or I'll go, right, all you're going to try and do is try and sell me something, so I'll avoid you. So you need to come across as a human being. So if you go to my LinkedIn profile, what you'll find is me trying to express myself as a human. So if you take your summary title, for example, at the top, that summary title isn't about what you do. It's not that you're a sales manager or an energy
recruiter or
whatever. That summary title. So if you Google yourself, that summary title is what people see. So it's the most visible line about you on the internet. That needs to express not your what, but your why. Yeah,
why. I love it.
So it's about who you are. So and then your summary at the top again is not about your products and services. It's about your why. It's not your what. And then if you read the rest of my LinkedIn profile, in a way, it's a story. It's not the history isn't, and I did this objective, and I did this objective, and I did, because no one cares. What it does is it basically takes you through a history from my early days right to today. And, you know, I've done jobs where I was only there for 6 months and it was crap. And what I say was, you know, we always have jobs that didn't work. But what I learned at that job was this. So there's one particular job where I was only there 6 months, but what I actually learned was a methodology to actually reach people at a C-suite level. And that's something that I've then taken on into the rest of my career as a new business salesperson. So that's one of the things where you've taken, in effect, something that could be seen as negative and actually shown it as a positive, and there's a story. So
which everyone has shit places that they've been and negative parts.
So you've traveled, you've so you know, I'd want to know where you got, how you speak such good English. I'd want to know, you know, you have a very good, you're very confident. So where does that come from? So it's about how does that Gerard, that thing that comes across, rather than I did this job and this job. So remember that
it's build a story, isn't it?
It's a story of yourself. Now, we're quite often not very good at, us British people are not really very good at telling stories. We don't like talking about ourselves. And that's actually part of the journey of being a social seller, is actually talking in a different way. So remember that whatever you do on social, people are going to check you out. So if you say, yeah, Tim, that's all really interesting, I'll do that next week, and then you never do it. The thing is if you have a crap LinkedIn profile, people will think that you don't care. If you look like a spammer, people assume that you're a spammer.
And it's true. Everything is fractal. If you
Yeah.
don't care about your LinkedIn, you don't care about the rest of your social. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
So we had a client come to us and said, this social selling doesn't work. And we said, what's that? They said, well, we sent 250 in-mails and nothing happened.
Great.
And
We
I
have
said,
created
well,
spam.
and I said, well, yeah, but you look like spammers. I mean, you just look like you're just going to pitch to the people and as soon as they accept it. So why would they? So the most important thing is to have a good LinkedIn profile. The second most important thing is to have a network. Now, a network is not about just sending contacts. A network is having people that you kind of know. So we're all in a situation where there's probably about 20 people in the world. If we rang them up and said, hey, Tim, I'm in London. Do you fancy a meeting?
Coffee.
Yeah, can we have a cup of coffee? I'd say, I'm actually doing something that day, but I'm going to move it to actually meet you. And what you try and need to do is actually turn that from 20 into 50 into 100 into 200, because these are the people that are going to be your advocates, that are going to take your content or your message and spread it for you. And also what you need is to have, whenever you connect to somebody, there needs to be some context. So everybody who's watching this can send me a LinkedIn connection request, but what I would say is, give me the context. Where did you hear? I heard about you on that Facebook Live. I thought you were crap, but I'd like to connect to you, or whatever.
I don't think you're crap. I think you're amazing.
Well, whatever it is that you want to, whatever it is you want to say, this is what's that?
It's about sending messages with love.
Yeah, oh, with love, right?
Yes,
Okay,
man.
brilliant,
You're
fantastic.
perfect. You.
I love it. I need. Where'd you get that from?
I will send the one to you, Tim.
Fantastic.
Do not hang up, and I will send you. And you know what we did? And we're developing this. Bam, we're giving it away. But this is just becoming, and you know why it's happening? Because we seeing a lot of tools for growth marketing, for sending emails and mails. It's like, fuck, do not forget to do things with love.
Yeah.
Just like, yes, there's tools that you can grow and enrich and send 200 messages through LinkedIn, but man, put all your love. Use these tools to share the love of your company.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is like, with the context, make sure like your brand is built, make sure you're like, when you do things with love, it's like, whoa, any company. And I don't know if has happened to you that you go to a company, yeah, they have all the right tools, they know how to do it, but it's missing the values, the core, and doesn't matter whatever tools you give, it's impossible if there's nothing in there to share.
There's a saying that a fool with a tool is still a fool. And I was talking to an organization the other week, and they were saying, we can't seem to get any meetings. We can't seem to express what it is. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, but all you're doing is contacting people and pitching to them. I'm sorry, but I'm going to go back to we really don't care. We don't care about your product. We don't care about your company. And this person had written on their LinkedIn profile, this guy, one of the salespeople was 25, right? And he said, I'm passionate about digitally transforming my clients, right? I don't believe you. When I was 25, I was interested in music, going out, trying to find a girlfriend, travel, and trying to work out how I could pay for that on my meager salary. I wasn't interested in digital transformation. I don't believe that he is either. I think, and I think, it's like, I think you're a liar, because I just can't, you're passionate about other things. You may like something about your work, which is, you may like the fact that clients were doing one thing and now they're doing something else. But you being passionate about it, I don't believe.
How do you change, Tim? Imagine that you go to a company that they pay great money, and you go there, it's like, you show the tools, it's like, yeah, everything is right, but the values are wrong, what they're going to share is wrong. What the fuck you do with that? Imagine that you are on there already.
One of the things that we do is we do two things. We do two things with the which is, we do mindset change and we do habit change.
I think that's so important.
Social selling is a mindset change piece. It's You've got to sit down and write your LinkedIn profile so people are interested. You've got to build a strong network. So a strong network is at least 2,000 good connections.
At least, minimum.
At least 2,000.
If anyone doesn't have at least 2,000 good connections on the LinkedIn, you're fucked. That's it.
I wouldn't quite put it like that, but you need to have 2,000 connections.
Good one.
To be a strong social seller, you need to have 5,000, because what you're doing is your network is your strength. So you've got your personal brand, you've got your network, and then what you'll do is that you're using content as a way of inspiring and educating. So you're taking that content and putting it into your network, and then your network is then picking that up and then sharing it further. So what I'm not saying is you sit down and you put some content out and hope and pray something will happen. But if you're going at and prospecting and going and contacting enough people and growing your network, and they come back and they see your profile and they go, this person is a really interesting person. So for example, we get 3 pieces of inbound every single day. We do no outbound marketing. We do no advertising. We do no cold calling. We do no any unsolicited emails. All of our business comes through inbound.
This is amazing, and I love it. And I think inbound, I would say it's a lot of much work to do. And if you can make it working for you, it's just amazing. Inbound is so much better because you get leads, I would say, in a way for free, unlimited, and it's continuously, and it's the best way. Good topic that you shared, because on the last few Facebook Live that we had, there's been people who's been talking about SEO. Can you share a technique on how you do inbound, which I think if you can share whatever you can, Tim.
Yeah, so we had we lost a deal. We just so happened we were able to find out what the client was searching from on Google, and they'd actually been searching for programmatic social selling.
Okay, now, programmatic social selling.
Yeah, so we'd not thought about the term programmatic before. So we actually decided that what we wanted to do was to be #1 on Google for that. So we just started writing a whole bunch of articles on programmatic social selling.
Did you write it yourself, or you got someone from Upwork?
We do all of our content ourselves.
How much? Sorry, Tim. Can I ask you a few questions? How much content do you write, and how long does it take? Because everyone, including me, is like, "Oh, writing content, it takes so much time." It
doesn't. So let's have a conversation about content, because that's the third thing that you need to do.
I love it. Okay. I love it.
So we teach people how to write blogs. Generally, a blog should be something between 300 and 500 words, no more than that. It should take you 2 to 3 minutes to read, because if I come to you with a 2,000 word white paper, what will you do? Well, you'll put it in a folder on the top of your desktop to read when I'm dead.
Never.
You'll never read it. If I write a 300, 500 word blog and give it to you and say, this is a really good blog, you'll read it straight away.
But it's difficult to make a 200 between.
And remember, you don't know a blog is good until you've actually read it. Now, what we do is that we teach people how to write blogs. They need to be, the thing about a blog is, whenever you write a white paper, the first thing that you do is you say, right, I've got 1,000 things I want to say. I'm going to write 1,000 things into the white paper. When you write a blog, you just need to write about one thing. This is not about word count. It's about ideas count. One idea, and make it a stream of conscious or a metaphor that people understand. I was on the way into work today, and I got stuck behind a lorry, and that made me thinking about how and so we had a client
really personal. You need to
we had a client that was selling. We had a salesman who sells things to do with big data. And the first blog he wrote was about the fact he'd got an Apple Watch, and that he was now checking all these things on his Apple Watch, his heartbeat and that. And he was getting to a point where that actually there's lots of data, and he's trying to work it out. So he's making a connection between the Apple Watch he got for Christmas from his wife and big data, which is what he was selling. So it's just, and that's just a 500 word blog. we put out a unique piece of content every single day, a new blog every day. We've done 700 or so in the 3 years that we've been in. And
that's amazing. Congratulations.
And the reason, and what you need to be doing is understanding that your clients, your future prospects and your future clients are looking for content. They're looking for it to be consumed. So
how do you share
as an individual, you as an individual, therefore, if you're going to prospect, you need to see that writing content is part of the prospecting. Because everyone we talk to says, well, I've got 5 things to do today. Writing is probably number 5, but I never get past number 3. And what we have to do is you know, ringing people up, cold calling people, and leaving loads of voicemails, which they're never going to basically return, is a waste of time. Spending time on unsolicited emails that people are never going to read and block you, again, is a waste of time. Yeah. Putting out adverts, again, which people will never look at, and
that's for sure.
So you need to, if you, what you need to do is spend the time, and it is where the clients are going to find you, and that is by writing content.
And you said something very important, is how many times do we check ourselves on Google? It's fucking never. Only when you lose a deal, you're like, fuck, and you get scanned. And this is good. That's it's like, please, everyone, at least once a week, check how does everyone find you, how they find you. And what we did, actually, just did a video a few days ago on, I would say, 3 minutes on backlink and share. And what I put, how to find emails. I check who wrote a blog. I send an email to them. It's like, guys, can we do something together? And it's something being active, and it's very important. Tim, how do you, once you write a blog, how do you share it with the world? How do you make sure your words are spread around?
Okay, so if going back to that, I'm a new person and I'm starting out. The best place to share it is on LinkedIn. Because the thing, I mean, we've all set up blogs, and then nobody goes there because, you know, I'm on the train on the way into work, looking at a mobile, I'm scrolling through LinkedIn, I'm looking at different things, and what I want is it there instantaneously. If I've got to press on a link and basically take it somewhere else, it's an unnatural act to suddenly say, I'm going to go from here to the, and what people, you know, your clients are on social media, so put them on social media. Now, anybody watching this will see that that's not what I do, but that's because people know me. So our blog is on DLAignites.com. And what we do is that we send people, we'll put out a link on LinkedIn or Twitter with a tweet, and then we'll send people to the blog. But that's because we've been going for a little while. When you're starting out, you need to start off on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I agree with you, because if you have content for Instagram, it's to be consumed on Instagram. It's like, oh, check my next post. No one will go out from the peak, or at least no one, the funnel gets lost. No one will go click on the bio and go to see the blog, unless it's something like really amazing, and no one has really amazing things to say. And I like to say, everyone, if you are on Twitter, LinkedIn, give content for that social network, and I think it's super important.
Yes, I totally agree.
Tim, I would like to say, and I'm sure you have a lot on, whatever you can share, what is the biggest success that you had when you go to a customer, showing the tools that you have on social selling? Can you tell me some big wins that you did?
Yeah, so one of our first clients was at Thomson Reuters. In fact, they were our first client in terms of our social selling program. We basically do, the first session that we do is about personal brand. The second session is about network. What we do is we get people to come along on the network, and they connect to people. And there was this one particular person who was at Microsoft. They were trying to sell to someone at Microsoft, very high up VP. This person, they'd written their they'd done their personal brand in the first session. They then started connecting to people, and they sent 10 connections. And this one connection person from Microsoft came back and said, "Thanks for the connection request. I've looked at your profile. You look like you can solve a problem of mine. can you come and see me?
Woohoo!
And that turned into £1 million. So that's a $1.3 million deal.
For zero advertisement, it costs you zero
for nothing. Yeah. So that's just that's one example. Another.
More. Show me more.
Okay, you want more? Okay,
yes,
yeah.
please. It's to inspire everyone. Obviously,
sales leader.
Show me the book again.
Sales leader says, got a problem. I got to recruit some people. So he said, well, write a blog. He said, well, a blog will never do anything. I said, go on, write one, see what happens, Steve. So he writes a blog, and within 24 hours he gets 40 applicants for, I think it was 2 roles. So he was so for zero spend on recruitment, he got 40 applicants. So he was able to then take some of those forward. So he's now, last time I asked him, he saved £300,000. So that's what, $350,000 on recruitment fees.
That's it.
And that's just about so we tell a joke in presentations. I'll tell you the joke. So there's 2 explorers going through the jungle. You've probably heard it, but I'll tell it you again. There's 2 explorers going through the jungle, and they come across a tiger in a clearing. And the first explorer takes his backpack off and he starts putting his running shoes on. And the second explorer says, you can't outrun a tiger. And the first explorer says, I don't need to, I just need to outrun you. And that's a metaphor for the way that we work in social at the moment, which is that everybody's shit. So you only need to be 10, 20% better than everybody else, and you'll basically kill the market. You can kill the competition. You can kill, because we've done things with people and even gone to their competitors, and they even go, no, we're going to carry on with cold calling. We go, do you not understand what your competitor is doing in terms of the way that they're building? So we've got one client that's basically building this lattice network with their salespeople of connections across the whole of the territory. So they've got relationships with all decision makers for this particular product across the whole of the territory. And the competition are doing nothing about it. So the first thing they'll know when this organization is basically just going to pull the rug from under them, the first thing they'll know about it is they'll miss their first quarter. Then they'll miss another quarter. Then they'll fire the sales director, and then they'll get another one in. But by then it's too late. They'll never catch up. It's a bit like a Formula One where, somebody there is so fast that they just start lapping people. And the thing at the moment with social is that, as I say, there's so many people that are so rubbish at this that you can get a little bit better, and that will give you such a big advantage.
I love the story about the tiger, and something that's just come up is brand, a network, a community. And I think network also brings a community, which is so important. Building a community, giving value to everyone all the time. This is not just like, I give you and you take. Social media doesn't understand taking. It's just giving. How difficult is someone, and I don't know if you had this time, it's like, okay, I'm going to do an online course, which this has come up to you. Have you ever done an online course yet?
We actually don't do online courses, but okay.
Do you have any future ideas to the online course or anything?
We may do. We never say never to anything. But
I am on the same. People say, Gerard, do an online course on how to do outbound marketing. It's like, yeah, shall I not do? Do you have any takes on that, Tim? Expectations?
The thing that we find with social selling is we have a saying with people is that knowing and doing are 2 different things. So people can, we are here telling everybody that you need to have a great LinkedIn profile, and everybody's going, yeah, I agree with that.
Bye-bye. Like, see you later.
And then they go, oh, hold on a moment. Yeah, I've got to go and do something else. It's like, but they won't actually do anything about it. And one of the things that we learned very early on, we being Adam Gray, my co-founder, and Alex Lowe as well, what we found earlier on is that you can tell people on a webinar to do something, but they'll be going, well, I'm doing, if you do a webinar, they'll be on email, or they'll be eating an apple, or reading a newspaper or something. So you're not reaching people that don't care that you need to, and also, you don't. What you're also not doing is you're not necessarily picking up on people's objections.
Mm.
We deal with a lot of people that it's all very, we deal with social media every day. Yeah. And, LinkedIn is LinkedIn, Twitter, we're really comfortable with it. But there is probably 80% of the people that we talk to are going, so what's a post? What's the difference between a post and a blog and what's a hashtag and how do you tag people? So it's really difficult on a webinar to basically get that element of coaching, and so we do, part of our program is where we offer one-to-one coaching. So we do group sessions, and then after that we do one-to-one sessions, because it's in those one-to-one sessions that we actually find that we get the most, or we feel that the customer gets the most value, because you'll get some people that will come on and they know all about it, and you're having a conversation about, they run the Twitter for their sports club or something, and they want to know about how they can get more followers on that, to other people that are going, I don't understand this and I don't know what a post is, and what happens if I post something and it's wrong? And our answer is, well, what happens if you're posting and actually the worst thing that can happen is actually that no one will actually see it,
or that you don't post anything,
or you don't post anything at all, and then you're not at the party. So so what we find is that there's a from people who go, I'm not interested in this, and I'm not going to take part, right through to people that are either scared or when I was at my previous company, one day we were in a situation where they said, if you post on social media, you'll be fired.
Nice company.
The next day, they're saying, we want you to post on social media. Okay. So everyone's going, yeah, but yesterday you said I'd be fired. So what's really changed? Because I bet if I post something, you'll fire me. So people are scared, and they don't want to, they don't want to post the wrong thing, right through to people that are really active on social media. So you've got this whole range of people's skills and abilities. People learn at a different speed as well, which is one of the reasons why we haven't used webinars today, purely because what we're looking for are the change, which is making sure that we get the mindset change and the habit change. And the most important thing to us is that we see a transformation within that organization.
I love this. And just for everyone if you can share, Tim, what 3 tools would you think are everyday Team Hughes tools? What 3 digital tools you cannot live without?
So I get asked this a lot, and I always seem to give the wrong answer, because everyone thinks I do lots of tools, but I don't. So we use Brandwatch for social media listening. They're very
love it.
Brandwatch is very
which
generous.
we'll be sharing to everyone.
Yeah. We use Lead Feeder as well. They're very helpful to us.
It's for Twitter, isn't it? Lead Feeder.
So Lead Feeder is for people coming to your website.
Okay, Lead Feeder. Yeah, the guys from
they're Finland. From Finland.
Yeah, amazing. You have another tool called Arbastro, which is Avastro, which is free. It was an AppSumo. Lead Feeder. I don't know.
We use another tool called Passel. Passel, Passle, and Passel is a very quick way of writing blogs. So what happens is that you're you find an article, and you get that burning desire inside of you that you either hate it or you like it, and you think that you can add something to it, and that's what you do. So you write 100 or 200 words and then post it out. You have a Passel page, which is equivalent of a website, which links to your website. You also get Lead Feeder looking at that. So if people look at that page, so we get an awful lot of transactions.
About Lead Feeder, Tim, does it really work?
Well, what do you mean by work?
Let me tell you, because usually they use the IP of the people who comes and visit you, and you can see their profile. What about if it's a co-working space, or what about if it's a big company?
So all you get is the IP address of what they've used. So if someone is sitting in their hotel at night, looking
you get the big hotel at night.
Yeah. If they're sitting in a hotel at night, looking at your LinkedIn looking at your website, then what you'll get is the IP address for the Marriott.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Or you know, rather than you won't know that it's
There
Steve
are
or
content.
Steve at Cisco. All you'll see is it's basically the Marek that's looked at your website.
And you
So
get excited that Mario was checking your website.
yeah. But actually, it's probably just someone sitting in the hotel in their pants, not actually doing anything. You know, just look at your website. You know, so.
That it works for you in lead feeder, just for me to understand, because we were thinking, yeah, let's connect something, but how do you how do you actually use lead feeder? Why do you like it so
So
much?
what you do is you can connect lead feeder to LinkedIn,
Mm,
and what it will do is it then shows you. So say Cisco came and looked at my website, and what I will do is I'm then connected to people at Cisco on LinkedIn, and it will suggest
oh,
certain
I like it.
people that maybe. So
Mm,
they kind of reckon that
mm,
you are a couple of people away. So you could go to that person at Cisco and go, hey,
the
Steve,
content.
someone at Cisco looked at my website. You wouldn't know who it is. Now they'd say, well, there's 100,000 people at Cisco, so how would I know? But you don't know. But you know, it's so you're not going to get that
Mm,
exact
I
person.
see.
So
It
you,
was a hack a few years ago that you used to put a pixel in your website,
yeah.
and then people will click, and then you will know what LinkedIn profile was it. I don't know if you know about that hack.
Oh yeah.
It was a, but it doesn't work anymore now because they
No.
changed the system. But I knew that hack a few years ago, and I think it was pretty. Then you said puzzle, brand, and Litfield. I think it's now that I'm going to be checking because it's in
Yeah.
fresh.
So Passel, and we use Buffer,
Buffer as well. Yeah.
Buffer for scheduling on. So I don't schedule anything on. The only thing I schedule on is Twitter. I don't
Okay.
schedule anything on anything else. I basically will post it, and I will post it manually.
Are you active on Twitter?
Yes.
You're like, I'm not so active. Also, another question. What about, would you recommend to anyone to get I would say, social media, I don't want to say the word, but social media manager, or to get someone from Upwork or abroad to run your social media?
I wouldn't. No.
Good. That's it. Thanks.
We do it ourselves. I mean, when when we were 3 people, we did it ourselves, and we're now 8 people. So we're not a big company. We do it ourselves. We use Slack. So one of the things that we do is that we have 2 channels in our Slack group. One which is please share. So if I post something on LinkedIn, I'll put a link to that on please share. And people can, if they don't need to, but they can basically like it or comment on it if they want to. We also have a channel called Tweets, which is where we pre-write the tweets. So if I created something and then you had to do a load of work, you wouldn't do it. So what we do by pre-writing the tweets is that we do all the work for the person. So all the person has to do is basically cut and paste that into Twitter or cut and paste that into Buffer. And then they're basically, and we all share each other's content on the basis. And that's one of the best ways that we certainly recommend to our clients, that the sales team start creating content and sharing it themselves. Because if people think about the amount of content that they need to create, they'll never be able to write it. So I use Flipbook as well to basically curate content. And then obviously we write content. But I've got a sales guy at the moment that's particularly targeting this one company. So he's writing loads of blogs about the particular subject that he feels that they are not doing very well. And so we're sharing that out as well. So we're creating a lot of noise in the marketplace for that particular subject matter and that particular account, because he's actually done an analysis, and actually all of their competitors are pretty crap at social media.
I love it.
But then that then goes out through, so me talking to you goes out through your network. So I get visibility in people that I probably am not connected to already. And what we do with each other's is that my content goes out through Stephen's network, and Stephen's contact goes out through David's network. And so we're making sure that, and we're all different writers, and we all write about different things, and we have different tones of voice. And then I think that mixes it up really, really nicely in the way that we get our content out. And it's very much it's a team effort.
I love it. Tim, just to finish up, I have two more questions. One is,
Yeah.
can you tell me have you ever wrote an email that has influenced your life forever?
A what, sorry?
An email. If you have sent an email out that has changed your life.
My life has changed a number of times. Yeah. For me, it was about writing the book.
Wonderful. I love
it. There was a whole. I mean, this is not about my journey, but there's been this whole thing where the book changed my life, and there was a whole thing, loads of things leading up to it. And one of the tips that I would give to your people is, when you write your link. So I'm not saying that you are in a job that you don't like, but say that you're in a job you don't like. Say, I want to be something in the future. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do whatever it is that I want to be in the future. So I was stuck in a job in a big corporate, which I didn't like. Love the people, love the environment, but I knew that I wanted to do something else. I wanted to sit on webinars and talk social media with people in Spain and Europe, you know, and stuff like that. And that's what I wanted to do. So what I actually did was I wrote my LinkedIn profile for who I wanted to be, not who I was.
And that's actually a good way of even for preparing the mindset, visualizing and see what is. I think that's amazing. Do you have any life hack that you can recommend to the group? Life hack would be waking up at 4 o'clock, having a cold shower, drinking a whiskey cola before going to a presentation. Anything that you think is like, oh, I do it.
I get up at 5 o'clock every morning.
Wonderful.
And I always then come to my desk, and I always access my social, and I will always put out a post. I know what post I'm going to put out the night before. And I always check my social at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I always go through my Twitter about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. So anybody who's on Twitter can contact me, and within 24 hours, they will have a conversation with me.
Wonderful.
And that's, for me, it's really important, not just to automate and just pump stuff out, but to always be there and always be present.
Amazing. Tim, can you show your book again, please?
Yeah, of course I can, yeah.
Anyone, please, Social Selling, we're going to be sharing the link. There's no affiliate. Please go and buy it. Tim is like amazing being with you, Tim. And I think everyone...
It's been a pleasure.
Anyone here, please, how can people find you, Tim?
So I'm on LinkedIn. And my name it's either Tim, T-I-M, or Timothy, which is T-I-M-O-T-H-Y. And Hughes is H-U-G-H-E-S. And you can find me on LinkedIn, and I'm Timothy_Hughes on Twitter. Tim,
this is amazing. Thank you very much. We're going to be sending one of these for you, just to make sure.
Fantastic.
On the next conference, you can share the love. And it's certainly really been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Best wishes. Bye-bye. See you soon.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.